before we bring our South African guests in to come and give us insight, because I don't think we've really handled the meat of this xenophobia, maybe she will help us unpack some of these things that
if you don't mind, let me just say something quickly before you proceed.
Sure.
I want to believe that the excuses with which they say this whole visa and all the processes you have to go through is necessary. I think it's just an excuse to continue to promote the division in Africa, because if you were to say when people travel freely there's room for crimes and all that, if people commit crime and they are caught, they should be prosecuted. That's why we have the law and the policing and all that in place.
But do you think that the government, African governments, have the capacity to prosecute? If you look at one of the things that President Buhari spoke about a week ago, just before his inauguration, I think his inauguration for the second term as president of Nigeria, he said that one of his biggest frustrations is the judiciary, because he's not able to move quickly. So even when they have evidence and they go to courts, they want to prosecute, the courts are not speedy in the administration of justice. Do you think that, for example, in South Africa, do you think the police, given the level of crime that we see here, the stats, do you think that they have the capacity to prosecute?
I believe that as far as other countries in the world are achieving the same, it's just a matter of putting more resources, more effort, and more strategy to achieve the same. I would like to hear from Patricia, so that she can speak about the consequences of xenophobia and how she's managing with her two children, which have been disenfranchised from the privileges of having both parents, and also the loss of her husband. You can speak for yourself, please.
His death has affected us a lot, because it came to a point where I was even praying for my own death. Because I was asking myself, what am I going to say to these boys? How are they going to take it when they grow up, knowing that their father was killed, brutally killed in that manner? It's not a good thing, because it shows that we as blacks, we as Africans, we have hatred amongst ourselves.
It's tragic if you don't know enough about the continent. Even in this country, when we set up the Guild of Nigerian Professionals, we said one of the criteria is that you must love South Africa as much as you love Nigeria. We don't see, even in spite of the xenophobia, we still have to love South Africa, because South Africans are amazing people. I mean, great people. So that's important. But also in terms of talking to the people in the lady raised the issue of the townships. I mean, I've been to places like Sibokane, Sakani, I've been to a lot of townships. What I cannot understand is so many rich black people. I mean, post-94. And so these guys would come from the townships, I suspect, because when I just arrived in this country, a lot of black people were still living in the townships. Now they're living in the suburbs. So what do they do on a weekend? They're sitting in Sandton Square. But there's nothing there, Mandela Square. There's nothing really, you can't feel the blackness in Mandela Square. So why are we not going to Sibokane for the weekend? Why are we not going to Gugule to Olanga, you know? So we have to go back into our township and develop those townships so that people don't have to come all the way to Sandton because they want to watch a movie and all of that. So it's important to take the conversation, this conversation, take it into the townships, informal settlements, where the real people are, because the real people are not in Sandton. And in closing, in terms of all these concerns that people have, look, We have to continue to engage. It's a power relations issue. Nigeria has the richest black man in Africa. It's worth about $14 billion. But we also have 89 million people who live in abject poverty. That is a disgrace.
As South Africans, we know very well that other African brothers, our fellow African sisters and brothers, they are hard workers and they are very skilled. And we need to partner with them in partnership in business.
Yeah, welcome back, viewers, to the NOGG Talk Show. My name is Adetunji Omotola and I am the presenter. And with me, of course, is to my left, Jay Esayoma, the founder of NOGG. And joining us now in this conversation is Seipone Hosiame Ramasobame. Welcome to NOGG Talk Show.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now, we're going straight to it. Seipone, before you joined us, we were talking about xenophobia in South Africa. And as you know, many people have died. They've lost their lives needlessly, attacked. Some have been burnt to death, and some have been shot, and some have been stabbed, like Emmanuel Sitole, and burnt to death like Ebuka Nwosu in Rustenburg. Now, we said when we come back, we're going to ask what the government can do to solve that problem today. So we want to put you straight into it and ask you, as a South African, given what you know about this scourge that is damaging South Africa's relations with some African countries, what do you think the government can do today, especially with this new cabinet that has been sworn in by President Cyril Ramaphosa?
Yeah, okay, thank you. What I think that the government must do is to just accept the fact that there is xenophobia. They try to criminalize it, you know. It's not, it has got nothing to do with crime. It's real. There is a hatred between South Africans and other Africans who are coming out of South Africa. Because I think it's lack of education, lack of understanding. Certain things hasn't been verbalized well, especially by our government.
Yes.
You know, there is a lack of knowledge, and that lack of knowledge is causing people to have also fear. You understand? If you can remember, during the apartheid regime, South Africans were alone with their oppressors in South Africa. Remember that many, like South Africa was in a cage because of apartheid. We were abandoned by many countries, you understand? So South Africans knew themselves alone with their oppressors.
Wait, let me ask a question. What do you mean South Africans were abandoned? How did they abandon them?
Because of other African nationals. We have never seen them. We started saying that, oh, okay, we have got Nigerians.
Oh, you mean you were isolated?
Yeah, we're isolated.
Okay. Isolated.
Like we grew up in a cage.
All right. Okay,
you understand? We're isolated.
Right. Not that
Then,
the Africans abandoned you guys.
Okay, let me correct that.
Okay.
We thought that we are alone.
Right.
Yes, because we have never seen anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you start seeing others? Because the
After-
Mozambicans and the Lesotho,
Yeah.
they were working in the various. There was a gold rush. There was a lot of people who even moved into Johannesburg from the rural areas and other parts of the country. There were a lot of people who came to work in all these mines around Johannesburg, and there were foreign migrant labor.
Okay.
Long before the advent of democracy.
Okay. Let me tell you something like this. There is a difference between a West African and somebody in the SADC. Okay.
What's the difference?
There is a difference.
What is the difference?
Okay, the difference is the appearance. You understand?
What is it? How do they?
The
appear?
language.
Okay.
You know.
They speak
there is
similar.
The difference is the language.
Right.
And the appearance. We are different.
Okay.
We look.
Are the Portuguese not different?
No.
Or the Chinese?
No.
Or the Indians?
Okay. Let me go back to that.
Right.
Okay. there is a difference.
Right.
Let me say-
Let me bring Jay into this conversation. Jay Esayoma.
Yes.
You've heard what Sepone is saying.
Yes.
That the Sadiq ones are more like them, and the West Africans are not like them. But I want to then put it to her, or you can respond. There's so many people from Sadiq that have also been victims of xenophobia. Malawians,
Obviously.
Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Mido Masha that was dragged to Davidson police station. How do you respond to this difference that she's trying
So
to
obviously
explain to us?
the distinguishing has not played any significance in terms of the issue of xenophobia itself. I wouldn't think that looking a bit different from the SADC origins or maybe the language has played any significant role.
They're not that. I don't think that they're that.
No, I'm just trying to say.
They're not that sophisticated in terms of dividing and saying, okay, I know that under apartheid they said a black person could become a white person could become black, a black person could become an Indian, a colored could become an Indian,
Yes.
an Indian could become a colored.
Yes.
But there was no time when a black could become white.
Let me go back to
So-
answering my question. I
Yes,
didn't answer
yes.
your question and my question.
Right.
you understand?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, you know what, ne? There is a difference. Okay, let me say Swaziland,
Yes.
Yes.
Lesotho,
Yes.
and all. We've been
Botswana.
speaking Botswana. We speak the same language.
Similar language,
You
yeah.
understand?
There's a
We
common
speak, yes, we
language.
Speak, we
Yes.
we
Right.
eat the same food. Everything that we do is the same.
Yes.
Right.
They have been here. And then the other thing that I can tell you is until they tell you that, okay.
So why are they killing
I wasn't-
Mozambicans
I
then?
wasn't born in South Africa. I was born in Lesotho. It's then that you know.
You
oh,
know you're not.
okay, then when a Nigerian come in and somebody's coming from Ghana, somebody's coming from Benin, okay, let me say West Africa, if I
Right.
may say. For example, let me give you an example with me. In the year 2001, I was studying in Pretoria, staying in Sunnyside, where most of West Africans arrive there. And then I was hearing the languages for the very first time. The English was so different, and
Yes.
and I thought everybody is a Nigerian. I didn't know the difference because there is no way in my
You were not
education
watching television.
where I was
At that
I
time.
was taught or I was told
Okay.
about Nigeria and any
There
other
was no. What
country.
I'm trying to
You
allude
understand?
to was that there was there was no Nollywood
Yeah.
experience for you at the time.
Never.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that, okay, there is an issue that came later, something that we are hearing from our fellow Africans like Nigerians and others, and that during their when they were growing in school, they were taught about, they knew a lot about South Africa and apartheid and everything.
Unlike you
We
guys.
didn't know.
Yes.
We didn't know. The only thing that we know about our freedom is our own Nelson Mandela's
Struggle.
and Jacob Zuma's and the struggle, you know. They used to go to other countries, but the story of them being there hasn't been told. It ended up then they came back and now we are here.
Let me then
You know.
pose another question to
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
Is